The Stoic Power of Silence. Reclaiming your worth in the digital age. The digital void. In the relentless hum of the digital age, where every notification demands our attention and silence feels like an anomaly, what happens when you intentionally choose to step back? What happens when you, the one who always texts first, decides to embrace the quiet? We're not talking about passive aggression or playing games. This is about something far more profound: reclaiming your power, understanding your worth, and navigating relationships with Stoic wisdom. The shift in energy. A personal anecdote. I remember a time when I was caught in this very cycle. I'd be the one constantly initiating contact, always reaching out, always waiting for that little buzz of a reply. It felt like I was auditioning for a role, desperately trying to prove my worth. The silence on the other end would be deafening, and my anxiety would skyrocket. It wasn't until I stumbled upon the teachings of Stoicism that I began to understand the subtle yet profound shift that occurs when you decide to pull back and let the energy of the relationship reset. Stoicism and self-respect. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers who championed virtue, reason, and self-control, understood the power of stillness. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us, "Never esteem anything as of advantage to you that will make you break your word or lose your self-respect." When the dynamic feels one-sided, a Stoic doesn't lash out, doesn't beg for attention. He simply steps back, not with resentment, but with self-respect. He understands that true emotional power is forged through stillness. The weight of absence, a real-life example. Think about a time when someone you cared about suddenly went silent, not out of anger, but out of a quiet withdrawal. Didn't their absence feel heavier than any words they could have said? It's like a background hum you didn't realize you were used to. Suddenly gone. That silence echoes, making you question what their presence truly meant. Curiosity and reflection. When you're no longer the initiator, you spark curiosity. The other person's mind starts racing. Is he losing interest? Did I do something? Your detachment invites reflection, not resentment. They might scroll back through old messages, trying to decipher where the shift began. This silence isn't empty. It holds weight. It prompts introspection, forcing them to confront the value of your presence. Reclaiming your power. A Stoic exercise. Here's a Stoic exercise. For 1 week, intentionally refrain from initiating contact with someone you usually text first. Observe your own reactions. Do you feel anxious? Do you feel a need to fill the silence? Now, observe their reactions. Do they notice your absence? Do they initiate contact? This isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding your own patterns and reclaiming your power. The imbalance and the urge to correct. When the texting becomes one-sided, the imbalance is undeniable. If the other person values the connection, they'll feel the urge to correct it. They'll realize that they've been taking your effort for granted. This isn't about punishment. It's about restoring balance. It's about creating a space where both individuals are equally invested. Gaining clarity. A story of self-discovery. I once had a friend who was constantly chasing after someone who clearly wasn't reciprocating. He was pouring all his energy into a one-sided relationship, and it was draining him. It wasn't until he intentionally stepped back that he gained clarity. He realized that the other person wasn't truly invested, and he finally had the courage to walk away. Silence filters truth. Mirroring behavior. The subconscious dance. If there's a genuine emotional connection, your withdrawal might make the other person initiate more. The chase flips, not because you manipulated them, but because you centered yourself. They begin to mirror your behavior, subconsciously adjusting to the new dynamic. This isn't a conscious tactic, it's a natural response to a shift in energy. Resetting the tone, a shift in dynamics. When you stop texting first, you reset the emotional tone. You're no longer available on demand. You become someone who values their time and energy. This isn't about ignoring the other person. It's about respecting yourself. It's about showing them what it looks like when a person pauses, breathes, and reclaims their inner stillness. Learning true intentions. The ultimate test. Does the other person reach out genuinely, or only when they sense your attention drifting? This question isn't answered through conversation. It's answered through space. When you stop chasing, you stop feeding the illusion and start observing reality. Their behavior will speak louder than their words ever could. Feeling less anxious. The liberation of letting go. Remember that feeling of anxiety, that constant need for validation? When you stop reaching out first, that anxiety begins to dissipate. You're no longer waiting for a reply, no longer feeling like your day depends on a text. You're free. This isn't weakness, it's emotional liberation. Becoming the prize, the power of self-worth. When you no longer seek constant connection, your presence gains value. You're no longer just another option. You become the uncommon person who doesn't beg for attention. You become the prize, not in a narcissistic way, but in a way that reflects your inherent worth. The Stoic takeaway. A clear lesson. The Stoics teach us that true strength comes from within. It comes from knowing your worth, from respecting your time and energy, and from not seeking validation from external sources. When you stop texting first, you're not playing a game, you're reclaiming your power. You're choosing yourself. And that, my friends, is the ultimate takeaway. So, I challenge you. Embrace the silence. Reclaim your power. Know your worth. And remember, sometimes the most powerful move is the one where you say nothing at all.